Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 cast by Glitch. Today we are looking at, well, what we've been looking at all this week, and that's TVT, PvP, and TVP matchups. And I've got to say, my TVP matchup knowledge is increasing quite a bit. I'm quite happy with where my knowledge is starting to get with TVP. I'm still really iffy on PvP and TVT, so I'm going to try to watch a lot more of those coming up here pretty soon. It's actually really hard to find replays of those matchups for some reason. When I go on drop.sc, there's a lot of Zerg players that upload. There's a lot of Zerg replays out there, but there's not a whole lot in the way of PvP and TVT for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's that Zerg players like to upload their replays. I don't know, but there's a lot of Zergs there on drop.sc for some reason. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about the PvT matchup, as I understand it. This is kind of how I get a general feel for how PvP is these days, or TVP is rather. In the early game, Terran puts some kind of light pressure on his opponent, usually through Reapers. Usually, Reaper openings seem to be really common these days in TVP. And this allows Terran to get a good, nice early scout off. But then, once Protoss kind of gets out a couple of Stalkers, maybe a Zealot, they start to get a little bit aggressive on the map and start to get the scout off on their opponent. Start to see if they expanded, do anything like that. And then, Terran kind of has this period where they kind of sit back and wait for medevacs. Maybe they get out Widow Mines, maybe they get out Bioforces, they get up some bunkers, but they wait till medevacs at around the 10-minute mark. So then at around the 10-minute mark, a couple of interesting things happen. One is that either Protoss tries to attack before the 10-minute mark, so try to attack before those medevacs get out. Or if they don't, they must defend against an attack that usually comes at the 10-minute mark with those medevacs. Now, let's talk about a little bit what's going on here in the early game. This is something that we've also been seeing a lot from Terran players. They've been trying to do a lot of denying scouting information. So lately, Terran players have been doing this a lot where they wall off the front because they want to try to deny as much scouting information as they can. In this case, ROOTMinigun did manage to get up into the main, but he's going to trap this probe in here for it. See how he just started the supply depot and now he's going to go for the scout? Sometimes they do this even if they don't have the probe in their base because they don't want anything to get in their base. They want to leave it up to they want to leave their opponent guessing as to whether they're throwing down a command center or whether they're throwing in a whole lot of buildings to go for an attack. In this particular case, the Reaper is about to come on the map, and it looks like he's going to use that to try to track down that probe. So he's going to know that the Reaper is coming here. Wow, I actually never even introduced these players, huh? Oh my god, I'm absolutely terrible. I got too excited talking about TVP here. So, spawning in the bottom left position as a blue Protoss player, who is currently having his Nexus blocked by this engineering bay, we have ROOTMinigun. His opponent spawning in the top left position, a guy that I casted yesterday, versus what was it? What was his name? It was like Tubby the Fat or something like that. I believe that was his name. Another Protoss player that we saw yesterday, and I can't remember if Fubar actually won that match or not. But anyway, the engineering bay did go down to block Minigun's Nexus here for a little while, so it looks like that is going to be focused down. But in the meantime, this Reaper's going to try to go around the map, try to get up into the main, getting a little bit of scouting information. And what we're seeing go down is a very standard opening from Minigun. This is not too much of a change. Normally, they get up the Nexus, and then after the Nexus, they get up the double gateway. But in this particular instance, because his Nexus was delayed, he just instantly went for the double gateway so he can still he can still have his gateways up at the same timing. So now, in the base of Fubar, we do see that the command center is going down right at the natural expansion, and we see that the barracks has now built a reactor and is now starting to double produce Marines. No doubt a bunker is at the front. Yes, absolutely. Got to have that bunker at the front for a lot of early pushes, because there are a lot of Protoss players who will, out of this first gateway, will get up a Zealot and 2 Stalkers, and then get really aggressive. Maybe a Mothership Core to give them vision onto the high ground and start to get aggressive against their opponent. So, these bunkers in the early game end up being really critical. Anyway, Nexus about to go down here as well, and we do have a Stargate now coming down here for ROOTMinigun, and oh, will this Reaper scout it? Oh, it looks like, yes indeed, he is going to scout that. So he does know that Stargate's coming down. Now he's just trying to pick off as many workers as he can, and yeah, 2 more barracks coming up in the main as well. And so, looks like he's just going to continue. 2 worker kills. Oh, a little bit of a miscontrol there. Almost lost it, but now the Mothership Core is pulling back to be able to deal with that Reaper. And that Reaper is most likely going to go down. Yeah, Probe's going to block it in there. And that Reaper does end up going down for a total of 3 workers killed for Fubar. So now, he does bring some units to the front here because there's a Stalker that was doing a little bit of threatening here at the front. And there's a Pylon as well over on this northern position. So there is a chance of some damage going down here. So he does have these here just in case his opponent decides to come for any kind of attack. We do have an engineering bay going down here for Fubar. I like this. He scouted the starport, so he threw down this early engineering bay, and actually this engineering bay might have actually gone down without even having seen the starport, just because of how common Oracle plays are against Terran right now. A lot of Terran players get this early engineering bay up, and so Fubar says, well, hey, as long as I'm getting up this early engineering bay so I can get up these missile turrets, which of course the missile turrets did come down after he scouted the Stargate. But as long as I'm getting up this engineering bay so that I can throw up my my missile turrets if I need them, I'm going to get a +1 upgrade. And notice he also has Stim on the way. Now Stim takes about 3 minutes to complete, so guess what? The 7-minute mark, you better start your Stim, because around 10 minutes is when your medevacs are going to be out, so that's when you're going to want to get aggressive. So he wants this Stim timing to line up with the medevac timing. So that's exactly why he's got that coming down right now. So far, quite a nice little clean build here from Fubar. Now, Minigun is looking to get a little bit aggressive here. He's got 1 Oracle already out on the field. He's got a second somewhere on the way. Yeah, he's got a second one on the way. And he's got a couple of sentries here that have been building up a lot of energy over here off to the side. Now a couple of zealots warping in as well. So it looks like he's going to go to be a little bit aggressive on the front. This Oracle can potentially do a lot of damage with that Pulsar Beam. They deal a lot of damage very, very rapidly. As we can see, second bunker going up for Fubar as he is anticipating that attack. And guess what? This attack timing is coming, look at this, around the 9-minute mark. It's going to come before the medevacs come out. Everything in the early game for TVP is all about, almost always about when the medevacs are going to come out. Now, we do have 2 Oracles coming in here. Now, these some of these SCVs do get there in time. Nice force fields going down behind those bunkers. And so all of these SCVs can't repair, and these Oracles are going and targeting that bunker down pretty quick, and they do go down, but it looks like Fubar is going to be able to hold it, especially because he's got that second bunker that's going to hold it nice and well for him. So that attack didn't quite work out so well for Minigun, and actually it's just going to be pushed all the way back home. Stimpak's about to be complete, and we do have a +1 armor upgrade on the way here for Fubar, and now you can see that he does have the factory followed by the starport coming down as well. So he's just going to be able to swap that onto the reactor, produce 2 medevacs, and either go for a drop or just a big push at the front with Stim and +1/+1. Nice little timing there from Fubar. In the meantime, Minigun has gotten up his Nexus here, starting his 2 gas geysers, and it looks like he's still just sitting on 3 gateways. Nothing else has been produced out of the Stargate so far. We do have the Twilight Council coming down, and there is still a pylon in this northern position, so he could take advantage of that a little bit later on. And he's leaving a Stalker here at that Zelnaga watchtower, so if he can see if any kind of attacks are coming. Now, because of those attacks that came at the front, these medevacs have been a little bit delayed, but they're still going to come out here around the 10:30 mark, and he might choose to go for an attack. I would almost bet that he's going to choose to go for an attack while another command center comes down. That would be my bet for Fubar's next play. Double Forge coming down on the side of ROOTMinigun, as well as, let's see, a few more pylons, and Blink Research now coming down as well. So it looks like he's going to be going for a little bit of a Blink Stalker play. He does have a good number of Stalkers here out at the front. Stalkers are kind of, how do I want to talk about Stalkers? Stalkers are a unit that they use gas, and, oh, we do have a push out coming out here from Fubar, but the Stalkers do use gas and minerals quite evenly. So the more Stalkers you produce in the early game, the less other things you're generally going to be doing. Generally, if you want to be getting up a lot of upgrades, you're going to be producing a lot of Zealots. If you want to be getting out your gateways, you're going to produce sentries, so that you can save up the other resources. Oh, now this medevac did get loaded up here, and it's now moving across the map. Gonna be offloading there onto that high ground there, and let's see, does he see it? No, he doesn't actually see it, but he's pulling his units back because I think he saw those 2 medevacs, and all of his units are now pulling back here to be able to deal with this. The Photon Overcharge did go down here, and because, man, it's got such a super long range here, he's able to defend all the way out to the edge of that building. But there are more units now coming across the field here for Fubar as he's continuing to rally more units in, a couple more medevacs on the way, and he's now rallying out Hellbats as well, and those will deal quite well with the Zealots, and oh, he needs to get out of there, but oh wow. Actually, these Marauders don't actually have their concussive shell quite yet. And yeah, no command center go down. Notice there's no command center. Oh wait, there it goes. Command center now going down, finally going down there at the 3rd here. And now all the rest of the units are now coming in. Notice there is a drop over here on the right side of the map as some of these units now move down along the left side. So this is going to force Minigun's army down into this left position, while in the meantime this drop is going to come down here. So he's not going to win this fight directly up on this side. He's actually going to lose most of these units. Actually not the best control, but in the meantime these units are going to stim in and start to focus down this nexus, which could deal a whole lot of damage. The photon overcharge does go down here, but it's not going to be good enough as the nexus is going to fall. And now if he loads up and boosts out of there, he's going to be able to get out quite nicely. And oh, he's going to be able to pick off a few probes here as well. And it looks like, yes indeed, 11 workers, 13 workers, 14 workers, 16 workers, 17 workers going down here. So Fubar doing a pretty good job of doing some good damage here to his opponent. Now 55 harvesters to 45. Fubar is somewhat up, and once again he's looking to move out once again to try to split up his opponent's army, because once again he knows his opponent is being pulled to this position. His opponent is being pulled into the main, and ooh no, looks like Root Minigun just going to go for a bit of a counterattack here to try to deal some damage. He's going to get his units out onto the map, maybe try to pick off these medevacs, but oh no, one medevac is going to get caught out in the middle, but Minigun actually doesn't react fast enough, and he's just continuing to go straight for his opponent's 3rd. But there are units moving down here the center of the map. Notice they are +1/+1, +2 upgrade is on the way right now, but oh no, Fubar's units all getting a little bit split up here, but it looks like he's going to be able to catch a whole lot of these stalkers out in the middle of the map, and they are going to go down from now, but the rest of the army is now pulling back. Blink forward by Root Minigun manages to pick off all of the medevacs there, and that is an absolutely huge gain there for Root Minigun. Notice the 3rd is now up in mining. For both players, a lot of mules now being dropped at that 3rd, and it looks like this army is going to go down here from Fubar, but he did manage to get a good number of stalkers there, so this is going to be a little bit hard now for Minigun to be a little bit offensive here, because he's got a whole lot of units coming down. Oh, he's bringing a probe with him. Is that to throw down pylons, or is he taking a 4th? No, that is just going to be strictly to get out there and throw down some of those forward pylons, and Fubar does see this. He does see this now coming, and so he's trying to get all of his units down to his 3rd base to defend. No bunkers here quite yet, but he's going to get these units down here in time. They are 2-1 in upgrades to the 1-1 of Minigun's upgrades. Nice force field goes down there, enough to at least deter Fubar from trying to push around it. And now the pylon is going down here for Root Minigun. In the meantime, there is a Hellbat drop that is going down to this bottom left position, and the Hellbat drop does go down, and some workers, not too many workers actually went down there. I don't think he managed to get too many, but the stalker's going to blink forward, and that just barely gets out of there. He's going to need to pull that home, though, if he's going to want to send that in again, because that's just going to be a little bit risky at this point. But it looks like Fubar's starting to move out into the middle of the map, going to be able to pick off the pylon, and that's his only pylon out there. He never actually threw down another pylon. So yeah, he's actually now going to be forced to just pull back home because he brought his probe back home. Or either that or that probe, either that or the probe was on that Zelnaga tower and he just lost it. Now he's trying to find that medevac right now. He's looking all around for that medevac. Oh, and he's bringing all the stalkers away. He's bringing all the stalkers away, leaving this completely open. There's absolutely nothing here that he can do. There's a zealot here, but that's not going to be able to do much. In the meantime, Fubar is going to start to push down along the right side of the map. I like this pushing down along the right side of the map. Why the right side of the map? Because that's where his base is. His base is here, so he doesn't want to go this way and push, because then his opponent could counterattack along this right path. So he pushes along the right side where he's expanding. Always just smart RPS logic there from Fubar, and Fubar is gonna do some damage to these units, but they are gonna manage to get out. And it looks like Fubar actually gonna take a 4th here. So once again, I like this move. He's taking control of the watchtower. So where's his 4th gonna be? It's gonna be here, where all of his army is, where he's simultaneously protecting his 3rd and now his 4th. And he can apply pressure to his opponent. If he takes a 4th here, he now has to split his attention between this side of the map and that side of the map, so no good for him. Now he's currently up to 182 supply to the 120 of Root Minigun, so he needs to get out some more units here. Psystorm is now on the way, being researched at the Templar Archives. I don't know where it is, though. Where is that Templar Archives? No time to look for it now, but there's those Hellbats finally going back in once again, managing to pick off some workers. And now, in the meantime, I am getting some lag. But all the main army of Fubar now coming right up into the front, and the Templar isn't done yet. The Psionic Storm, that is, isn't quite done. Do these Templar have enough energy? No, they don't even have enough energy to deal with it, and it looks like Minigun is actually going to be pulling all of his probes off the line. They are going to go down so fast for those Hellbats. Those Hellbats absolutely melt probes, and Root Minigun is going to be forced out of that game. Wow. Fubar just steamed Minigun there. For those of you that don't know Minigun, he is a professional StarCraft 2 player, and Fubar, as far as I know, is just a guy on ladder. He is Grandmaster, so he's very, very good. So, but yeah, managed to take a pretty solid win there off of Minigun, keeping him constantly guessing. So, well played game there by Fubar. I hope you guys enjoyed these casts. If you did, please hit that subscribe and that like button down below, and that's going to do it for me. Thanks so much for watching. Glitch out.